Hello and welcome to Cooking for the Yum of It. I am your host Wesley Foreman, and the star of today's episode will be the humble turnip. Now, a lot of you may recognize this as a rutabaga. However, in some places it is known as a swede, in others a Swedish turnip, and in France and by the writings of Julia Child, this is known as a navet or a yellow turnip. This will be I will be making a navet à la Champenoise, pardon my French if I've mispronounced it, which is a turnip and onion casserole. I will be serving this with a paleo pork chop. For that recipe, you'll have to go back to a previous episode. So now, let's get started. Now, the first thing we have to do is we are going to peel our turnip. Now, you don't need to watch the whole thing. So now that you've seen me get it started, we're going to jump ahead. Okay, now that the turnip has been peeled, our next step is to cut into quarters. Make sure your knives are nice and sharp for this one. Okay. Then, using our wonderful measured cutting board, we're going to cut our quarters into half-inch slices. We're not done yet, but we're going to go ahead. Then we're going to cut our half-inch slices into half-inch cubes. Again, using this wonderful marked out cutting board that I got. And I've got quite a lot of turnip here to slice, so I'm not going to make you watch the whole thing, but you get the idea. Now what we're going to do is bring about 6 cups of water and a teaspoon of salt to a boil. And once it's boiling, we're going to put in and boil uncovered our turnips for about 3, maybe 5 minutes. Now, while we wait for our water to come to a boil, we can start by dicing our onion. And as you see, I'm still wearing the goggles because they help keep my eyes from getting all teary. No one wants a teary-eyed Wesley, especially Wesley. Okay. Yeah, not a single tear is coming out of my eyes right now. Now we're going to start and just see if we can get this done with just half an onion. And since you've all, well, maybe some of you haven't watched my previous episodes where I've diced onions. This is a technique I picked up watching one of Julia Child's episodes. I forget what the episode was about. They're all good. First, you don't cut all the way across. You leave a little bit of the onion intact at the end. And then you cut horizontally. Being very careful not to cut your fingers. That wouldn't be good and would add nothing to the flavor of whatever it is you're cooking with the onions. see? All perfectly diced. Now let me see if this will be enough for 2/3 of a cup, because that's all we're going to need for this recipe. Okay, that's 1/3. And okay. Okay, maybe a little bit more of our onion stub. Now for this one, it's going to be a little not as neat. Again, be very careful so you don't cut your fingers. So, depending on the size of the onion, that's about half an onion to make 2/3 of a cup, with a little bit left over. And now the water is boiling, so very carefully put in our turnips. Stir that a little, and we set our timer for 5 minutes. Back in 5. It has now been 5 minutes, and I need to drain my turnips. Be right back. Now we're going to add 2 tablespoons of butter, although technically this is not butter. I don't know if you've been keeping up with me, but one of my roommates is having some heart issues, so instead of butter, I will be using the more heart-healthy, earth-balanced, soy-free buttery sticks. Now, you can also make this with bacon fat, but I'm going to use this, see how it works. I'm looking up ways to make some of the stuff I've already made, as well as future recipes, more heart-healthy. Okay, we just want to melt this. We don't want to have our butter go black. And now we add our onion. And according to the recipe, we cover and we cook slowly for 5 minutes. So probably want to cut down the heat a little bit more. We're going to turn that down to number 2 on my burner. I love the smell of cooking onions. So, see you in 5. Actually, since I'm making a pork chop with this, I can start preheating the oven now to 425 degrees. Now that it's been 5 minutes, we're going to, some of the onions got a little brown, but that's okay. I'm going to mix in our flour, and we're going to cook this again slowly. Let's turn the heat down a little bit more for 2 minutes. Yeah, I think that's the lowest it'll go, yet still have a flame. Okay, so let's go ahead up 2 minutes. Okay, excuse me. After that's done, we beat in our beef bouillon. Now, stir that in really good, and then we return it to the heat and bring to a simmer. Ooh. Let's turn it up just a tad. And wait for the simmer to begin. You can tell because you'll be able to see itty bitty bubbles all along the outer edge. And while we're waiting for that, we're going to add one of our other ingredients, which is 1/8 of a teaspoon of sage. Now, normally you'd use a 1/4 teaspoon, but I'm cutting the amount in half because I'm only making this, the recipe is for 6 to 8 people, but I'm only making this for 3 to 4. Okay, let's give a little taste here. Ooh, almost. Oh, don't want to do that. One of my viewers pointed out that I should not, and she's completely right. I hope she's watching this time. Never taste with the spoon you're stirring with. Quite good, actually. But it could use maybe just... Oop, don't worry, I'll pick that up. Let's start with another 1/4 teaspoon, sorry, 1/8 of a teaspoon of salt. This is my stirring spoon, not my tasting spoon. And each spoon I taste with will be a new spoon. Much better. I'm going to go with that. Now, we fold in our turnips. Let's see, here we get everything folded. And my oven is now reached 425 degrees, so as soon as I'm done here, I can start preparing the paleo pork chop. I won't show you that one because that's on a previous episode, but it will go really well with the yellow turnip and onion casserole. So now we cover and we let it simmer slowly for about 20, maybe 30 minutes. I'll check in 20, but we have about 30 minutes until it's at the most. So, see you in 20. Okay, I wanted to take a closer look here, and I should have been stirring it. It doesn't say that in the book, or if it did, I missed it, and I'll have to read it again. But it got a little sticky on the bottom. Fortunately, I bought some of the Easy Off is not just good for cleaning ovens, it can also help clean scorched on food from your pots and pans. And I found one that is fume free according to the label. I haven't used it yet, but I will be using it tomorrow. Oh, I got some onion here that got out. Don't want to leave a mess on my stove. So we have about 8 minutes to go, so I'll see you in 8. We have now reached the end of the cooking process. That steam smells so good. We're going to stir this up again. Now if this had been still a bit too soupy, Julia advises to cook for a little bit longer uncovered. But this came out great. And now we're going to add our parsley. which again, we're doing more folding. Fold into our onions and turnips. And we turn off our heat. And then you can place it in a lovely dish for serving. I lost grip there for a second. Yeah, see that? That is your onion and turnip casserole, or turnip and onion casserole. And now, as soon as my pork chops are done, I'm going to have dinner. And now the part I always enjoy the most, eating. Let's try some of our turnip here. God, that is good. That is very good. I'm going to definitely have to put this in my regular rotation after I've cooked my way through the entire the French Chef Cookbook. But it is really good, and it does, I think it will go really well with my paleo pork chop. This is good. I really recommend you try making this yourselves. Anyway, that's it for now. My navette à la champenoise, onion and turnip and onion casserole. Sorry, I get a little muddled in my head sometime. That's all for now. Please remember to like if you enjoyed this, subscribe if you haven't, and feel free to comment down below. And until next time, always remember, eat and enjoy.